coming back to current affairs-driven discussions this morning. We're joined virtually by Barrister Peterson Ihunweze, who joins us to review some of the topics in the news this morning. Hello, Barrister Peterson. Compliments of the season to you and welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you. I am happy. Compliment of the season.
Yeah, we appreciate you for taking our time from your holiday to speak to issues in the news. Let's begin with where it hurts the most. That the security architecture that has been provided for Nigerians to provide area surveillance and tackle insurgency and insecurity, particularly in the northwest, northeast corridors, has repeatedly over a period of 10 years bombed not less than 450 civilian casualties. The most recent being the community in Sokoto yesterday, where NAF reportedly accidentally bombed civilians in a bid to strike Lakurawa terrorists. Do you suggest that at this point, a different approach be taken towards aerial surveillance and bombings, which continue to leave a heavy civilian casualty? Hello, Barrister, are you with us?
Yes.
Did you get my question?
Yes, I got the question. Yes, it's quite unfortunate that even time before now, we always have civilian casualties of bombing by the military personnel or military formations. Is a call for concern. Despite the huge budgetary investment of the government and the training and equipment that the military officers do have in their possession, we keep having such a bad and gore incident. You know, the constitution is very clear that the essence of governance is, or government is, security and welfare of the people. Then instead of government to provide security, the government on its own is not turning to kill the people that they ought to have or have the primary responsibilities of protecting. Is quite unfortunate, and it is unacceptable, it is condemnable, and it is to all intent and purposes despicable. There is not any reason why the military should go and bomb a place in Sokoto. For what reason? For whatever it is. Me, on my independent investigation, when such a thing happened in Kaduna, there was a report that the community was, they were, giving sort of support to Boko Haram then. Then, even in international humanitarian law, when you have a target that is affecting or that is, fighting against it, what did the military do? What the military do is what they call severance in international humanitarian law, even at the war time. Now, we are not even at war time now. You go and cherry pick those people that you feel that they are, have giving military support. You pick them up. You use your intelligence. You have DSS. You have military. You have police. You have navy. These are state apparatus. These are state formations. So it is condemnable, and no reasonable person will accept the military bombing a civilian.
Now, Barrister Peterson, the issue is we keep condemning it, and it has been a tradition even when the prior one happened in Kaduna at the start of the year. Many are calling for accountability and some sort of justice beyond coming out to condemn it in all quarters. We rarely see people being asked to explain or resign for giving the killer shot without checking that civilian casualties will not be recorded as much as it has been.
Yes, it's the same thing that I'm saying, that the military formation should be held accountable. Who is in charge of the troop that led the attack? Who is their officer in commanding officer? Who is that particular officer? What is the aircraft or the military software that was used? What was the report of the surveillance that was done? Who gave the signal? So these are investigations that should be carried out, and whoever that is culpable should be made to face the cost or the consequences of the law. Because you see, one of the functions of criminal justice is to deter people from committing crime. is to deter people from doing such a thing. Why this bombing of civilian formation continue to take place is that because people that have done this before has been, let free. They've gone scot free. They have not been held to account for their action, for their misdeed. How can a trained military officer go and bomb a community for whatever reason? Even if you feel that the community is biased, they have, they are giving favor to the attackers or whoever, the terrorists. When you go to that place, do an investigation, sieve out those who are doing this, get them arrested, and they'll face the consequences of the act. So it's is a call for the government. We are in a civilian government. We are not in a military government. We are not in a chaos society. So it's a call for the government or the President Bola Tinubu, and also the Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Army Staff and whoever that is in charge, to be called to the officer that led this attack to be, face the consequences of the law, to be, prosecuted. Let them give their own account. If it is failure of the military formation or military software, let those military software be replaced. If there is a failure or a biasness on the part of the military, let those military be prosecuted and let them face a court martial. That's my own position in that respect.
Now, Barrister Peterson, help us understand the perspective of the law into this. Like you rightly said, the rules of engagements and how this ought to be approached. But the excuses that we continue to see are that some communities, like you said, are supporting them. But in other communities, they use these humans as human shield. In those cases, how does the law treat issues based on war crimes? And is there a rule of engagement that deters further engagement of the military if there is civilian casualty to a certain number?
Yes, yes. What I'm saying in essence is that now we are not in the war in Nigeria. That when you are not in the war, what governs the country is fundamental human rights. Then when we are in war situation, then what governs human rights is international humanitarian law. Then now we are not even in wartime in Nigeria. So the issue of calling for international humanitarian law does not apply. Then now going further, if you see that there is a civilian cooperation to the enemy or whoever it is, or to the people that have levied war against the government, the law is very clear that even in the war time, even in the war situation, even if during war, this act of the military is unacceptable. Then now we are not even in war situation. So how do they justify it? Going to bomb a community in Sokoto, even if they see that those communities are giving support to the terrorists, what they need to do is to go on investigation, see that those persons that are supporting the terrorists, get them arrested, get them processed. They have all the equipment, they have all the manpower, they have the soldiers, they have the personnel, they have the DSS, they have even if it is even has to do with external forces. We have NIA, they have DIA.
Oh, so we're well saddled with all the security architecture and apparatus to combat this. Now, it would interest you to know, Barrister Peterson, that yesterday we had an interaction with someone in Zamfara who joined the program. And in analyzing Christmas in Zamfara, he lamented about a developing trend. He told us here yesterday that community dwellers and residents in certain communities in Zamfara are willingly going to seek and apply for jobs within illegal mining sites, despite the state government's ban on illegal mining. Now, terrorism and insurgency and insecurity have all been linked to some irregular activities within communities like that. In this case, with intelligence like this on ground, how does the government of the day approach this?
Okay, on my own response to that, it's a failure of the government, because we have even seen a situation where during Xmas, during the peak period of Boko Haram, that they were giving arms to the government, to the people, and people were hailing them. We have also seen a situation where people voluntarily want to join the people that are taking arms against the government. And recently we have also seen what happened in Ibadan, what happened in Maitama, Abuja here, and what happened in Anambra State, where people One of the incidents is that in Anambra, they said they were sharing one bucket of rice, these 4 liters of rice, you know, and people, about 21 persons or thereabout died. It's a failure of the government. It's a failure on the part of the. In fact, one of the activists was calling for the government to come and apologize, that the government should come and do something urgently to assuage the sufferings of the people. The people are suffering. The Nigerian masses are suffering. We've never had it better than this. You know, it's a call for government to rise to the responsibility of ensuring that the welfare of the citizens are well catered for, are well provided for.
I
Government
agree
should
with you, Barrister
orchestrate
Peterson.
plans
I
and
agree with you.
programs.
The government needs to rise to the occasion, but in doing so, we need
Yes,
data and statistics. A lot of persons continue to say you cannot plan for a nation where we continue to assume that there are over 133 million on multidimensional poverty. There are several IDPs without having a national exercise to provide the figures to also inform our budget planning. Do you think that this is a major lapse when we talk about the palliative measures that we continue to see?
yes. Before now, I've spoken on the issue of social investment program of the government. We used to have. I don't know whether they still have it. The Minister of Humanitarian, because it's been a long time I heard about it. Social investment program is a program that government orchestrates to lift people out of poverty. Payment of hospital bills for the aged and the underage, public transportation, subsidization of critical aspect of the economy, food and all that. So these are the programs that government can do, and by then lift people out of poverty. When you know that you go to hospital, you do delivery, big man will also go, and if he want to pay, he will go to a big man. But government hospital should be free from 0 to 15 of age, then from 60 upwards, so that those ones that cannot cater for that, they will have access to that. Then it was an executive bill then at the National Assembly, which I knew that was not didn't see the daylight. Like in US, they have social investment. In UK, they have social investment. This social investment has to be backing, has a backing of legal framework. It must have a legal framework, an institutional framework, just like we have EFCC that is chasing people, and people chasing them. We should also have an institution that is saddled with the responsibility of social investment program of the government, that will be chaired by a person that will be accountable, budgetary will be done, and such institution will make out plans and projects and programs that will ensure in lifting people out of poverty. And of course, there are programs that government, railway system should be working, so that transport will not be a problem. The child birth should be free. These are little programs that education should be subsidized at the barest minimum. These are the programs that are coming from average Nigeria, that they are not finding it difficult. They are now finding difficult to cater with. So, baby food should be subsidized, and all that and all that. These are the programs that government can come up, and by the special grace of God, before you know what is happening, majority of people will be lifted out of the poverty line.
Now, coming to another issue in the news this morning, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, in his Christmas message, has restated the federal government's commitment to what he calls an unwavering support for Nigerian security and welfare. It almost sounds as though on paper it is 100%, but when we look at its reality in terms of government's projects and incentive towards Nigerians, the PDP is accusing the APC of being far detached from the current realities Nigerians are facing. Does the VP's word at this time come as a reassurance for you, or do you consider it a pledge?
Well, that's a political statement that always comes from the government. And you don't even, that is what government needs to do, to keep reassuring Nigerians to have what, and in the military, also in faith in the economy and the polity, you know. But what we are saying is that when good cannot satisfy demand, that perfect is required. The government, by the special grace of God, do more than mere words, do more than the saying by going ahead to ensure implementation of programs and policies, and also is also a statement to the army or the military to reassure them so that their morale will not be dampened. So also whatever it is, the military is for the country. So the government has to also give them that moral support to say no, no matter the criticism, no matter the mistake, no matter what, we are behind you. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't end at that. Government on its own should also make a plans and program that will ensure that such incidents did not happen again.
Now, we all listened to the president's maiden media chart and his analysis of 2024 in review, where he's also talked about the performance of his ministers. He did ask my colleagues to name one minister that is non-performing, and a lot of people were quite disgruntled that a few names were not called. Listening to Mr. President and his assessment of his cabinet, are you also satisfied with the performance level of his ministers?
Well, the ministers have performed based on the capacity, and I'm not the minister. And also, for you to assess somebody, you also are assessing based on the materials and the support and the resources that he has at his disposal. But based on my own assessment, I believe that the government has not done enough. Government has both the minister and the president on himself, because the government, the policy, we don't know the policy direction, we don't know the economic program and project, we don't know the security, program of the government, we don't know the program and plans of the government to lift people out of poverty, we don't know the social investment of the program. We've not even seen one. I've said it even in your studio. We have not seen one. We have not seen one. Unlike what happened in 2012, that people were shouting, this present government led the protest. They were shouting. There was, mass buses everywhere. Other things that good Lord Jonathan government put in place to ensure that the effect, the harsh effect of removal of subsidy, was doing by few months now. The removal of subsidy will be 2 years, and nothing is on ground to show that subsidy has been removed, and we have not even seen the money that was removed from subsidy, where it is, what it is meant for, and what
on the money removed from subsidy. The federal government is asking Nigerians to tilt to their state governors that there have been increased FAC allocations. But one thing I would agree with you on is the CNG buses are also yet to be seen, which was one of the cardinal promises upon which subsidy removal was hinged on. In light of those two comments, how would you say the government is committed to the cause?
That's what I'm saying, that by this is in few days now, will be in January. And I'm saying that in 4 months time or 5 months time thereabout, that this government will be 2 years. And that 2 years was the 2 years that subsidy was removed. The CNG buses that were promised, we are not seeing them. The railway station, this thing that they talked about, we have not seen. I was thinking that before now, there will be a railway station from east to west, from west to north, from east to north, to cushion the effect. I was even expecting the president to this train station that stop at Itakpe to extend it to Abuja, and I was informed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised that, and up till now, no project has taken effect. Railway transport system is very cardinal and crucial to the economy. Government should go back, look at from Kaduna to Abuja to Kaduna, after 8 years of Goodluck administration, no extension. At the time, the train stopped working. So it's a bad omen. So my own assessment, forget about the president saying they should go back to state. State for what? Are we in state? What of his own? Do your own and talk about, let state do his own. That's my own take. You won't tell us to go back to say you have increased the fact. If you increase the fact, what are the costs? What of the value of Naira? Naira has been devalued. So let federal government take the lead and do major projects that will change the landscape, economical landscape of this country. That's my suggestion. That's my opinion.
Now, Barrister Peterson, talking about some landmark projects like you're requesting for the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway appears to be the one. You prefer that rail should be walking. But even at that, Engineer David Mwahi has hit quite a brick wall with some of the controversies following the award of contracts and the reimbursement of landowners whose properties fall along the corridors of that project. For you, do you think that is a white elephant project, or is it one of the landmark projects that would assuage the yearnings of Nigerians should it be brought to completion?
Yes, what I'm saying is that considering the resources available to this nation, tax has been increased, everything has been increased, electricity tariff, tax, removal of subsidy, personal income tax, every other income has increased. This project ought not to have lasted more than 2 years. The government has the resources. All these non-payment of compensation, cock-a-boo story, the award of contract, Nigeria don't need it in this at this time around. The project, even the one that is coming from Cross River and all that to North, government should give maximum attention and support to such projects to be completed. These are what we need in the country, not excuses and excuses and excuses. There are open channels. Let there be mass, road construction everywhere. Let roads be open, and also let train. The Lagos coastal line. There should be a train in the middle of this, so that tomorrow we'll start again. I want to commend Wike with what is it. Somebody, an insider, confidently told me that when Wike is awarding road, he will award the street light, he will award the drainage. These are how it is done. Not tomorrow, government will come up and say we want to do train this thing line, and it will take another money, take another compensation. Let the compensation be paid once and for all. Let the construction be done once and for all. As they are doing the road, the train will be in between it, and before you know what is happening, the Nigeria will open up for it. Because I see no reason why somebody that is traveling from Abuja to Lagos will start entering people's compound in the name of bad road and the name of going to this. There should be an express road from Abuja to Lagos, from Abuja to from Lagos to east, from Abuja to east, from Abuja to south. There should be a north Kanu. There should be an express, just like we have Abuja, Kanu, Kaduna, Zaria, Kanu, and up to Meduguri. That's how it should be. So such should be also repeated, repeated downstream, not just an express from Abuja to Kogi, Lokoja. It should stretch down to Lagos and straight down to east and west and all that. Before you know what is happening, it won't be taking 9 hours that it will take it to go, or 11 hours to take it from Abuja to Lagos. So I want to say that when good cannot satisfy them, perfect is required. Government need to up their game to ensure that these projects are timelessly concluded and delivered to the people who have been taxed, overtaxed, and overtaxed by the government.
Now many persons will agree with you, especially in your choice of using the FCT minister as an example. Many have also called him AKA Mr. Projects. In terms of the developments dotting the FCT, but much cannot be said for the Minister of Power. Nigerians, the start of the year, were aggrieved by his statement saying that Nigerians carelessly use electricity and should turn off appliances. People were talking about the unfair characterization of Band A, Band B. But more worrying is the epileptic collapse of the national grid. Going into 2025, do you have any concerns on the Ministry of Power and the handling of our national grid?
Well, if in a sane society there is no a reasonable government that will tolerate what they call national grid, failure of national grid, for what? For what? The minister and whoever is in charge should be fired. Can you go to Ghana or South Africa? I'm just talking about Africa. I'm not talking about Europe or America. I talk about national grid. Do you know how many billions that the economy we are losing in our CGP that we are losing? It should follow. This is the failure of national grid should go with this year. Such should not be tolerated in the coming year. There should be a new lease of life. I drive a car, and I know that before a car will stop you, it will give you signs. So I also know that from my little experience as a lawyer, and also somebody who has done uh, so many things before now, that even generator, when you service it, it will not fail you. But when you fail to service it, it will fail you. I was once working with Nigerian breweries when before my admission. There is one Nigerian brewery called overhauling. Every year they overhaul their machines. That's why you won't hear that Nigerian brewery has stopped working, that there is no beer, there is no malt, there is no this thing. They don't wait for the machines to shut down before they will do overhauling. So they do it annually. They overhaul their machine. So these people that are starting with electricity, they should have a way of servicing. In fact, sometimes when they come to do over, you see that a machine that is still working, but there may be problem that may come up in the near future. You solve that problem, and it will be cost effective, and it will be save you time, and it will make the country or whatever production to be a going concern. The national grid they should orchestrate a plan and program of how to be servicing the equipment there. You push to this A and service B, you come back to A again, just like aircraft. You don't wait for things to get bad before you start, saying that you're working. So it's a call for the government to rise to the occasion and ensure that in fact, no investor will take us serious with this kind of thing. No foreign investor will take us serious.
Now, people talk about how all these economic policies and decisions have an effect on the current celebration of Christmas. Coming to item number 3 in our discussion this morning, we're told that fun seekers in the major cities, Lagos, Abuja, turned out in their good numbers. But in cities like Anambra, residents, for sake of some security concerns, chose to stay at home. But overall, speaking to a cross section of Nigerians, one thing is recurrent: a high cost of living with food inflation well over 40%. Barrister Peterson, how would you rate this Yule-tide celebration in terms of the cost of living and the affordability of food and other commodities in the market?
Well, the cost of things keep skyrocketing, and occasioned by the um, failure of government to take a stringent and a positive economic programs that will ensure that our naira gains value. Even the appreciation of naira recently is just somebody told me that it's just a market interplay. So but Nigerians are Nigerians. They've been resilient. They've been strong. Despite everything, Nigerians will also have a way of pulling through to whatever challenge that may be of of the moment. So people came out. Then on the issue of Southeast, that people are scared of insecurity, it's a call for government to beef up security in that area, because the essence of governance is to provide security and welfare of the people. Well, and also a call for government to ensure that more programs are rolled out, so to ensure that we have welfare of the people, and the interests of the people are well catered and protected and provided for. Well, it's either here. They will pray that Nigeria will always get better.
Now, Barrister, you had earlier made comments as we continue to condole with the families of over 57 persons who lost their lives in stampedes in 3 cities. Now, going forward, persons are talking about the need for heightened awareness on crowd control, with notifications given to law enforcement and security agencies ahead of gatherings requiring more than 50 to 100 persons. But the challenge is that some persons are also looking to milk the pockets of event organizers in terms of issuing permits before such well-meaning initiatives can be carried out. How do we balance this conversation?
Well, in the case of Okadibo, there was a time that they were to have a rally in Kaduna, in Kano, when former President Buhari was of AMPP. They went to court, and the court later heard that you don't need permit for you to do any peaceful process or protest, not to talk of gathering. Well, the essence of this issue that we are having is a call for whoever that want to gather people. Just like somebody was saying that if you want to give arms to people, don't even publicize it. Make sure you have a number of people that you can control and all that and all that. So it's just a call for security agency. Like now, I was in the police station 2 days ago. I was reliably informed by a DPU of the place that I went to that the churches and places that people are gathering, for such palliative that if the crowd is much, they will disperse them. So it's also a call for the security apparatus, the security system, both the police, the civil defense that are being paid by taxpayers' money to rise to the occasion and ensure that they protect people. And when such incident or such red flag arises, let them do the needful without waiting for anybody to pay them. They have already been paid with the taxpayers' money, so they don't need any other payment. You just go there and secure people that their primary responsibility is to secure.
Now, in terms of fund seeking in general, I don't know which of the groups you belong to. Many continue to talk about the essence of Christmas, and whilst it is in giving in some quarters, this fund seeking venture with some unrelated social gatherings at this moment. For you, how do you choose to celebrate this moment? And is it from the angle of giving to people of the less privileged demographics, or in terms of fun seeking with family at recreational centers?
Well, it is a combination of the two. Like me personally, in my own capacity and my own small level, I've done my. I was able to get 6 bags of half bags of rice and
Then
reached out and
you're no small man to
distributed.
be able to get rice to distribute. You're not so small in your words.
Is that's my capacity now. People do 50. Me, I did 6 bags of half bag, 25 kg. So apart from that, I also invited some families to my house. We celebrated, and the children. I like children. They are in my house now. We have a full house. People brought their children. So and all that. Then later we can also reach out to like by on 28th we are also going to distribute 50 bags of 10 kg rice, do crusade, kill cows, about 3 of them, and tell people about God, and also to be civil and to be responsible citizen of this country. So it's a combination of two. When you have feel that you have extra, why not spare it? It's God that provides. He will always provide. Then also you also have time to also take care of your family, take care of yourself too, because even I'm a Christian. The Bible says, "He that watereth shall be watered his own soul." So you that is getting this money, your family and your loved ones should also have a fund. Should have a fund. Like yesterday we went out, today too we also go out. So while going out, you also be careful and we are in Abuja here, so the security is somehow okay here, and you know. So, but those who are in remote areas, it's also a call for one to be very careful. And you know that the dangers of this remote area is that if you there's a way you do, they will think that you have all the money, and somebody will, all these bad people will, come and all that. So it's a call, a combination of two. It's a season of love. It's a season of sharing. It's a season of almsgiving. So the extent and the little that you can do is a call for one to reach out.
Now, in keeping with time, I promise we won't exceed 15 more minutes, but we have to talk about two critical issues in the news as we wrap up. On the one hand, it's the tax reform bills. On the other hand, is the recapitalization plan for banks. Let's begin with the tax reform bills, Barrister Peterson. Now, whilst this bill has continued to elicit controversy and is on the floor of the National Assembly, there's the northern sentiment towards this bill. Now, this morning, one of the dailies also looked at it from the angle of sharing of value added tax. Now, whilst the North has a ban on certain consumables, particularly those with alcohol in it, and issues like sports betting, there's a continuous demand for equity in sharing. Now, Lagos and Rivers are feeling that they will be most cheated out of this sharing formula, considering the contribution to VAT from the northern angle. Senator Alin Dume has been one of the most vocal on the floor of the red chambers. For these tax reform bills, how do you prefer that the National Assembly handle it moving forward?
Well, I overheard the Senate President saying that the tax reform bill was not suspended. In fact, you can't rub Peter and paper without being prejudiced. I did my master's at DBU Zaria some years ago, and one of the programs courses that I undertook is tax law. We did tax law, and we raised issue of personal income tax. The issue was well debated, wherein the issue of staff working with Ahmad Bello University. Personal income tax is paid to the state. Then Ahmad Bello University is a federal institution. How do you reconcile that? Can you prime it and generalize it? Let the people that are working in Ahmad Bello University, let the tax be paid federal government and let it be shared, even people that are not, residents or from Kaduna. Because why this personal income tax is paid is that government will use it for the provision of amenity and infrastructure and all that. And remember that water board that goes into Ahmad Bello University is provided by Kaduna State government. The road, internal roads, and all other amenities that are within this area are provided by Kaduna State government. And it is from the taxpayers' money. So how do you, prime that? So an argument was made that though it is a federal institution, we all know that tax is deducted from source. That let the federal government deduct it and remit it to Kaduna State government. Now, the argument was strongly on that basis. Now, you say you don't want this, that it is forbidden. You don't want that, it is forbidden. But you want tax from it. I don't know. Is it not also forbidden to also take money from what is forbidden? Take money from a transaction on what is forbidden. Because the law is very clear. In the case of McFly UAC, the court held that you cannot place something on nothing and expect it to stand. And even in law, you cannot transact, you cannot place a contract on illegality. So if you say that in your own, you are forbidden, it is this one, it is forbidden, at law is the same. You should also, my people used to say, when you reject the devil, reject everything that comes with the devil. So I'm of the strong view that tax reform bill, let it stand, and I know that it will stand. Let it be assented to. Because you cannot eat what you don't, you cannot, give what you don't. You can't take what does not belong to you. And it's also a call for not. This is a liberal state. Even in Saudi Arabia, that is the capital of Islam, where Islam is practiced, there are a lot of transformation. There are a lot of liberalism. There are a lot of things going on there. So we that are, the religion was transported to us, we can't be more Catholic than Pope. Let us open up and whoever, and also Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution is very clear on that. It abhors state religion. There's no any state that will say this is a very. In fact, in one of the human rights, international human rights posers and the seminar that we were saying, for the nation to build national mosque, for the country to build national community center for the Christians, is it not a breach of fundamental rights of those who are traditionalists? For the state to sponsor people that are going to Hajj, is it part of when we have said that there is no state religion in Section 10? Is it not in breach of Section 10 of the 1999 that abhors state religion? What of the traditionalists? What of the Hindus? Don't we have Hindus in Nigeria? Don't we have the Buddhists in Nigeria? Don't we have the traditionalists in Nigeria? So these are the issues that that keeps the huge amount. In fact, in Lagos State, in the seminar, it was submitted that the huge amount of money that Lagos State saved when they abolished sponsorship of pilgrimage, whether Mecca or Israel. The money in fact, there was a project that was done that run into billions. The government said it was the money that we saved from the sponsorship of this pilgrimage that we used in building it. So I am of the strong view that government should look at the laws and do the needful All those things that will encourage more income to the government should be encouraged, so that even those who are producing will also intensify action to do more production. Because see, even enforcement of this tax, the state that it is being done, the state can say, is it not this thing that is shared? The state will look the other way around, and before you know what is happening, there will be loss in revenue to the government. So I'm of the strong view that the tax should stand, and the government, the president, should not even waste time in assenting to the bill to become an act.
Now, we also speak to some of the parts of the tax reform bills, four parts of it, and some of the parts that speak to the good of Nigerians. First, the nomenclature change, the renaming of FIRS to the Nigerian People's Tax, and also on the angle of tax harmonization with the exemption of certain categories of persons from paying the personal income tax, much like you've said. This part of the bills are not gaining as much traction in the public as it should. Most of what is being highlighted is the not. Why do you think this is so?
This is what just happened in when a constitution was amended and the former president Goodluck Jonathan was almost signing it, which gives autonomy to both local government, to the state legislature, and the separation of the attorney general from the minister of justice and all that. People don't look at because of, I don't want to use the word selfishness or myopic nature of human thinking. People just look at anything that will remove money or that will dwindle their income, and without knowing that these states in the north, they can actually, do well and get more than that if they look inwardly. If they can, invest and ensure and encourage productivity. So because of that more money that people are looking as if it is much and all that, it beclouds the sense of reason, it beclouds the beauty of other aspects of the bill. But my view is that since the president is in support and it's executive bill, in fact, 99% of all the executive bill goes through. And I know that it will just take a time and take a politics, harmonization and all that. The bill will still set. And I know that before by this time next year, believe you me, it will be a thing of the past.
Well, that's one of the issues to talk on. And in closing, our last topic before I let you go, the bank recapitalization has also been one major issue of concern. Now, people have looked at commercial banks, particularly from the angle of the difficulty with accessing capital. Now, this new capital base that CBN has mandated banks to institute, Access Bank makes the news this morning for having raised 351 billion naira in rights issues to meet this CBN's new requirements. In your analysis and review of this policy direction by Nigeria's Apex Bank, what are some takeaways that Nigerians should be aware of?
When bank recapitalization was introduced by Soludo, it was applauded, and it gives hope and faith to Nigerian bank that no Nigerian will fail. I am not an expert in that field, but I strongly believe that the essence of recapitalization is to make the bank stronger, to have more equity shares, and also have more capital base, which will be insured by Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation. So if that will be a thing that will make the bank to be stronger, but my aspect of it is for the government to ensure that we have less than 5%, less than one digit, if it is possible, interest rate, so that the companies and industries can take a loan from the bank. So if that will be done, and we have a strong and a cheaper interest rate, I strongly support it. I know that the Nigerian banks will always have a way of crossing the Rubicon.
Well, I must thank you, Barrister Peterson, for taking out time from your holiday to shed issues to matters of discuss this morning. We do appreciate you, and we're wishing you the best of the remainder of the year.
It's a pleasure. I thank you for having me, and we continue to pray that Nigeria will be a better place. We have no other country than this country. And just like everybody, what my friend said, if everybody decides to jack and leave this country, what of your mother, what of your relative? Are you jackpotting with them? So we have to stay back and make Nigeria great. And I strongly believe that we will rise again, and God will help us, and Nigeria will be good for it.
May
Thank you
Nigeria
for
be
having
great
me.
again. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you for having me.